was the level of thinking at that moment.
Let's go, let's go. Well, here we are, May 6th, right? Wednesday. Good night, good evening, good morning for everyone. And we're starting here a very smiley gathering encounter with Stef and Tiz. And maybe there are some folks who will join in. I think so. And what we're going to do here, we're going to talk about the E2C token, empathic alpha exploration, and we're going to try to talk about Happonomy too. Unfortunately, we have a little time. Stef has some things to do in an hour, mostly, and we are going direct to to the business.
Yeah.
Yes. So we can focus on it and start to have a really nice conversation about it, right?
Okay.
And well, I'm going to start saying that all the things that I'm going to share here, Stef and Tiz, is about a life exploration of mine, but not only mine. I can say that nowadays, surely with hundreds of people, if not thousands, because we don't have this metric, we don't have and it's related to a way of living that is total interdependence. It's totally interdependent. It's totally open access, and it goes beyond the conventional open source and open code movements. You see, the people that sinks in with this type of exploration, they already transcend the ownership phase. They don't feel themselves as strictly as consumers, mostly like prosumers. So it's really a social phenomenon, and it's related to interaction.
Yeah.
Interaction is not something. It's not something simple to understand. It's something really profound. And interaction is not only about language, all types of language. Interaction is more. It has a more wide amplitude than that. And if we look the societies as they are since the modern times, with all this control and managed things of the societies, with all this design that it's related to participation, not to interaction, right? And participation is something that is related to consensus, a consensuous way of thinking. So all the things, all that you see in society is a very organizational paradigm, right? So in the organizational paradigm, we have concessions, we have planning, we have design thinking and system thinking. Yeah. So all the things that this exploration is about complexity. It's about living together in singular fashions, living together in singular fashions, not with a consensus, not with an agenda. It doesn't have any type of doctrine or ideological view. And people only sinks in, like now, if they feel to sink in, right? And it's interesting because it's a type of exploration that really explores human behavior, really explores the time that the people gives the time to do things, and to understand what matters at the end, really what matters for each one. And in the big picture, when you zoom out, you see that is a social organism, a very impermanent one, a very configurable one. And if I could animate this bird's eye view of this social organism, it would be in constant movement, movement. Because so in this sense, this exploration that we called Global Experimental Station for Open Sciences, all types of knowledge, and P2P social technology. We call it with the acronym E2GLATS. E2GLATS is E2GLATS. E2GLATS. GRLGLATS. E2GLATS.
Yeah.
It's in Portuguese, so it's not in English.
Okay.
Yes. So E2GLATS is not an organization. It's not a startup. It's not an institution. It doesn't have. It only exists if it exists flows of interactivity. If it has flows of interactivity, E2GLATS exists. But it doesn't have. It doesn't exist. So it's a very interesting because it's a metaphysical thing. It's not a physical one. Mm. So I'm going to show you some slides rapidly here. Just going to navigate through them, so you can see the extent of this. And you have the. And this is very relevant, this introduction, because it will explain a lot of the E2C token empathic alpha exploration, right?
Yeah.
So let's go. Are you guys seeing?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put this in the presentation.
I can see it.
A presentation mode. Okay. Is it better this way? Okay.
It works for me.
Okay.
I see no difference. It's just I see the PowerPoint more or less.
Yes. So let's go. Welcome to the E2GLATS social organism. Oh, I forgot to say, what type of paradigm this social experiment is running on is the global one, but not the global one that refers to different localities. The global one that refers to different languages, different cultures, different ways of viewing things. So the paradigm is the global paradigm, the locality. So when we start this in 2014, it was about five persons, and we started in a very little community in a place.
Hi, Jananda.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah. Hi.
Jananda, what a pleasure. Jananda is one of E2GLATS nodes, E2GLATS NetWeavers. So glad to see that you guys know each other. Yeah, let's go. So I was sharing that presentation, Jananda, that we made for a workshop here in Rio. Remember that?
Yeah.
Going to start again. Here we go. Are you guys seeing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this sense, when we started in 2014, was about five persons, me included, of course, and we started in a very little community in a park in a medium-sized town called Niterói, where this community is completely unknowable for the people that lives in Niterói. It's interesting because they lack all types of infrastructures, and they really were. And I start there. I went to live in this community, right, via an NGO, and folks thought that I was working with the NGO. I only had a type of partnership with them, and in time, the NGO needed the house that I was living in, and the folks in the community invited me to stay. So the most old folk, it's called Seu Jorge, Jordeci Velix Borba, his name. And he really received me, and I made a camp there, and that started E2Glats in 2014, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we started making a lot of encounters there, presential encounters, to talk, because see, the thing about E2Glats, that it's related to the logic abundance paradigm too. So we start to talk about logic abundance, and we start to talk about the commons, but not in an activist way, but really in a common way. Mm-hmm. And folks went to this encounters, this open presential encounters, was very nice. And when we suddenly, where folks start doing this same dynamics in other places, not only in Niterói but in Rio de Janeiro too. So from that point on, the thing just burst, right? Just burst all over around. So here we go. This is one of the places that Shananda knows well. This is called Casa Livre do Altinho. It's in a complex of slums in Rio, in a place called, in a neighborhood called Lins de Vasconcelos. And this house here is the upper house, is the house that I almost there weekly, right? And we have a very profound relationship with the surrounding community, and it's a very nice place. But you have to still deal with militia, drug lords, and things like that. But with all this scarcity, but even with all this scarcity, all this warrior thing, it's interesting to see how folks loves. Janela knows what I'm talking about. Loves this house. They really are there, and we call it in Portuguese. It's a experimenta. It's like a conviviality experience house, right? If I put it in English, a conviviality. So because the main thing about the E2Glats is conviviality. It's not collaboration. It's conviviality. So conviviality gives you more intimacy, right? More proximity. So that's very important. So this is one of the and wow, we have a lot of things going on there. So this is some photos. Jananda is one of them. Try to find if you're good spotting Jananda. I'll give you 2 minutes, 1 minute to find Jananda there, but you're going to find. And this is one of the open gatherings that we made there. And it's interesting because folks come all over around, not only folks in the favela, in the slum, but folks in Rio and other places, even other countries, right? So here we go. This is the neighborhood. Let's put in this. This is the local neighborhood of Casa Livre do Altinho, how we call it. This conviviality, experimental space. If Jananda wants to say something about it, feel free.
Yeah, well, the house started as really open, but I feel like some or most of the people in the community didn't understand what was going on there until the kids started actually using the space to hang out, to have ideas, to be creative. And the last picture is they're making flute out of a pipe. And I remember that day they also had like a theater, like a play, as it was a theater, and they can be very creative there. So actually they named the space, right? They created the name, right, Vinicius?
Yeah, they named the space. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think most of the people that are using the space are the kids, but also I remember being with other residents there, and they used to come and either bring problems or ideas for solutions there in the community. So it's a very, very interesting space.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Do
I
you have?
found you, by the way. You're the one with the white sleeveless shirt with some designs on it, I think. Is that correct?
I don't even know where I.
Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
You are with me, Jananda. Jananda, localize me, please. Localize me. Did you localize me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're all by my side, right?
Yes.
This pink, this guy here with the pink T-shirt, right? I think this is pink T-shirt. Yeah, pink T-shirt.
Yeah.
And Jananda is by my side, so you can you can spot her.
Okay. Yeah.
I took some of the pictures there actually.
Let's go. Okay. So this is another conviviality house space for conviviality, experimental space. It's called Vila 25, Village 25 Village, right? It's similar, but it's different. It's similar, but it's different because it's a industrial village, an industrial place. So the folks in this village, they have a very different way to make daily basis conviviality. It's a very interesting experimentation too. So let's go. Here's some folks. Here's me. Okay, this guy with the beard. And here we go. So this is the regional place that started E2C. This is the park that I was talking about, right? And in the first year, 2014, we started doing a lot of things. We started sharing all sustainable sources of energy there with the folks. We started agroforestry type of plantation there with the folks. We started its own internet, right? We made access to the internet band. We started a zero waste movement there too. So it was very rich because during 2014, you see, Steph, I don't know if I told that to Jananda, about hundreds of people came to make this thing happen with this very little community, as I said, 25 families, and this park in Niterói. It's an ecological park, right? And that's it. Was a very interesting experience. It still is. It's not. It doesn't belong to the past. It still is. So let's go. Here's some photos of this park. This is the family that received me. This is Seu Jorge. This is this very simple guy from the countryside of Rio, Estado de Rio de Janeiro. His wife and his grandson, right? And when we're talking about solar panels, well, so now we go ahead and you can see that the first big encounter that we made in 2017, right? We are already 3 years ahead. There are a lot of conviviality spaces all over Brazil already happening. And this first encontraço, this first big encounter, it happened in a very particular, very interesting city called Alto Paraíso. It's in Goiás state. And Alto Paraíso is known by its ET energy, ET type of energy. It's a very hippie city. and this first encounter was a type of Burning Man encounter. So that's why the photo, we made this photo. So it was interesting that this encounter, it didn't, it's not a usual, is not a, how I say, it's not those usual trip encounters where you have a schedule, you have a programming, you have a program to do. You see, you have folks that say what to do. No, it's very open. So you go without knowing if you're really going to encounter someone. If you do encounter, that's the big encounter, right? So that's the concept of this big encounters. So we call it big with capital letters and capital E, big encounter. We call it encontraço in Portuguese. And it happens once in a while. It happens. Not now with COVID, but it happens. So this is one of the conviviality spaces there in Alto Paraíso. This is here are the folks exploring the region. This is another place where the folks that lives there, Dax is his name. He started agroforestry experimentation, very interesting one that is very open. He doesn't harvest only for himself. He harvests for in a global manner, right? For anyone to access. So it's something that is related to the E2 station too. This is another big encounter that occurs in the south of the country, in another conviviality house space called Kolabi, right? And was a very nice too. A lot of people went. Here's a nice photo. You can spot me there. Folks all over around too. Here is in another favela in Rio de Janeiro. It's called Complexo do Alemão. It's a very big one, and this is another open initiative called Gambiarra Lab. Right? We have Fab Labs, but we have Gambiarra. Gambiarra is a way to do things in a very creative manner. So we have this lab called Gambiarra Lab, and we've done during 2015, 2016 a lot of encounters of we call it GLAB, Gambiarra Lab. A lot of GLAB encounters in the Complexo do Alemão. I don't know if Jananda went to one of them. Did you went to a Gambiarra Lab encounter, Jananda?
No, I think I was already here in Canada, but I remember being part of trying to, create a video for a crowdsourcing type of thing for this project.
Yes.
Or initiative.
Yeah, it was interesting because it didn't happen, because the logic behind Gambiarra Lab is very different from the logic that depends only on fiat money. I think that we even spoke about that. It's very interesting. So let's go. But it's still happening nowadays, not with presential encounters, of course, but Gambiarra Lab still is this open initiative still happens. So this is Gambiarra Lab here in Rio, some other places happening. And here we go. And this is the typical thing that goes all over around with the E2 the social organisms we call E2. These Zoom encounters, right? These Zoom encounters, they really are something that happens weekly, if not daily. And it's really a thing because folks feels really connected to each other. I'm telling you this, Stef, because this goes way back before now this COVID-19 thing that we are all virtualized. So we use a lot this type of tool, this video conference tool, to get together with folks all over Brazil and out of Brazil, right? And we happen to have a profile in Zoom that it's open sourced. It's open for anyone to use. So that's it. And okay, this is when we make the renovation for this Zoom. We call this profile People Spring. Okay, People Spring is the name of the profile. And a lot of encounters all over around. This is related to another open initiative called Crypto Journey. That's an initiative that gave birth to this exploration, the E2C token that we're going to talk about. and we made a lot of special encounters with folks that are that that are doing some very frontier stuff, things like Team AE and Carla, and that Jananda has with them a very profound, as me, a very profound micro narrative. We call it a macro narrative. And Jananda, it would be nice if you say something about your relationship. How did you came to know Team AE and Carla, and the type of relationship that you're having with them?
Well, I think it was because of this initiative we have, the E2C. So Vinicius met them at some point, and just to give a little context, Chimei, he learned Portuguese when he was already like 15 years old. And after a while, he decided to leave his community in the Amazon forest and explore some other places and understand what was going on. And he was kind of shocked when he left his community, mostly because he would see a lot of researchers go to his community and never come back, like learn a lot of things about them and never come back. So when he went to São Paulo, Rio, he realized that those people, they were actually from academia, and they, after going there, they became experts in Chimay's culture, which didn't make any sense, because why isn't Chimay somebody that is an expert in his own culture? And so they have this movement of trying to, you know, spread some indigenous knowledge and, you know, build bridges between those different types of knowledge. And so they have some programs that are to, you know, make people learn some of their own knowledge. The Assurini people knowledge is from
yes, it's called Avaite.
Yeah, it's Avaite agenda. It's called.
Yeah, Avaite agenda.
So
yes.
At some point I met them, and I was in the academic area here in Toronto, and they reached out to me. So I tried to learn a little bit of what was going on with, you know, academic knowledge and indigenous knowledge here in Canada. At some point, I actually ended up going to his community, and of course, this changed my life. And now I am in another initiative with them. So I don't think I told you this, Vinicius, but I'm trying to create a course on indigenous cosmology, especially with them. So starting with them, with the Assurini people. And it is also something to try to create some kind of income for them, because they have this house. They're actually losing this house right now, but they have this house in Belém, which is like the largest city in Pará, where they come from.
I think they already lose the house, Jananda.
Yeah, I think they're still there because they have nowhere to go, but they have to be out of there soon. Yeah. So, and this house is to actually have a place for other indigenous that have to go to the capital, and it also assists them in food and giving some help dealing with bureaucracy when they need to, a place to stay, and they want to do that. So I'm trying to find ways to generate income for them. So this is where we are right now.
Yeah, very nice, resume. Well, let's go. You see, as TBE and Carla, there are a lot of other folks that I'm not going to say that are in a similar situation, but a lot of folks that are in a very needed one, right? And it's a challenge, Stef, because it's very nice to do all the things that I'm talking here when you have a conventional financial backup, right? When you have some, let's say, some money in the bank, right? But to do this with people that doesn't have, it's a very challenging thing. So, and so it's not only Team AE and Carla, there's a lot of folks that is in similar situation, doing similar things all over around, here in Brazil and out of Brazil. So let's go. Well, here's the folks that study new types of democracy for the 20th century. They call.
Can I just interrupt you? I
Yes.
really love the stories, but I'd like to get to the
gist. The gist.
Yeah, because we're already 47 minutes in our call, and I kind of want to see, like, okay, what is this thing that you want to bring to the world?
Show the tokens. Show the dashboard with the tokens that you with all the names of the people.
I'll give you a little bit of insight in who I am. I'm a systems thinker. I usually approach things from a systemic level, and I love the stories, but for me, this is not to be disrespectful at all, but in a way it's fluff. And I kind of want to see what is the system you're working on, and how is the system going to bring the change. And then from a systemic point of view, you can change the stories into something more warm, more human-centered, with more love and connection and the conviviality you talk about.
Okay, let's go. No problem, Stef.
I had a meeting where Timmy was present, and then you asked everybody, what are you going to give as tokens? Then you had a dashboard and you showed.
Yeah, I'm going to show first this thing that's very important. Okay, all the explorations around E2C token, okay, they are people weave empathically driven, okay? They generate mutual access network effects, and they are done in a very peer-to-peer distributed issuing, and recognizes, and the value proposes recognizes any action towards regenerative common usufruct as wealth generator, right? And that's the gist of it. And in that sense, I done a sketch for you to understand how the exploration is running, right? So you have here an individual that just made contact with the value proposal, right? And in a very intellectual manner, not in a behavioral manner, not in his daily basis, but he's very stimulated to make this happen for him, right? So he recognizes someone, right, that does anything for the common usufruct on daily basis. So when he recognizes, he issues a quantity of E2C tokens. This quantity is allegorical, it's symbolic. It doesn't have any type of relation with how we see in fiat money. It doesn't have any type of financial relation as we see in fiat money, right? And this folk here, if this first one that recognizes doesn't interact with the second one, right? Nothing happens. It needs to interact. Not only recognize an issue, it needs to interact. If the second one that has been recognized and received the E2C tokens doesn't interact with him back, or goes to the spreadsheet to make the register, to make the entries of this recognition and issuing, nothing happens too. So that's why I put this block thing here. So it's very important that this dynamic or this process happens. So when it happens, it starts a real interesting empathic network effect. When folks recognizes someone and issues and interact, when this one interacts with this one and this one interacts back, right? They have this mutual access thing happening. So with this mutual access thing happening, you can go to the third phase, that's transform in access, what I call TIA, T-I-A, transform in access. So this interaction thing transforms it in action, in access, forgive me, in access. So not only the folk that is doing something for the Commonwealth access, but he too can access him in various manners. So this is the gist of it. This is the gist. This is the DNA of it, right? From here on, when you taste it, you want to make this happen more times. So you start looking all over around to see folks that do in their daily basis common things for the common usufruct, and you start issuing, and you start recognizing and issuing, and you go to the spreadsheet and formalize it there, right? Well, with time, we start to have folks that field to make how I say, all the things that they do visible for all the folks that are receiving E2C tokens, to make a TIA, to transform in access for the tokens the things that they are sharing, right? So we have this common usufruct abundant access. So now I go to the spreadsheet.
Can I say something?
Please, I'm hurrying because he's have time. So go on.
The thing that is different from any other social currency is that instead of accumulating, you just give it to people. So you see somebody doing something that's good for the commons, you recognize that, and you give them a certain amount of tokens, and they can use those tokens in any way they want or need. But the thing is, when you do something for them, you recognize them, but you never get those tokens back again. So once, let's say Vinicius recognizes that I did some action that was good for the commons, and he gave me some tokens. When I use those tokens, let's say Vanya has some bananas, and I need bananas, and she's willing to give me those bananas because she doesn't need them, but I do. So she gives me bananas, but instead of me giving the tokens to Vanya, we actually just make it disappear. We just burn it. So she's not accumulating tokens because she gave me bananas. And the same happens with everyone. So I think this is the big thing that is different, because we're trying to shift the mindset to the abundance paradigm. And abundance in the sense that it's not that there is everything for everyone all the time, but is that we have enough resources for everyone that actually needs them at the time that they need them. So I think this is the big difference from other currencies. And another thing is that the person that is receiving the tokens, they actually have to, Vinicius, correct me if I'm wrong, the person that is receiving the tokens, they tell how many tokens they're getting?
The person that is receiving the tokens, no, the person just receives the tokens. Who is issuing that gives the quantity, this symbolical quantity, this allegorical quantity of tokens for the person who receives, right? And the person...
If I get it correctly, say I have no tokens, but I see someone do something for the community, then at that point I can issue tokens and give it to them.
Yeah,
and
we recognize that folk is doing something for the commons, right?
Yeah.
For the wealth of the commons.
Yeah.
And
in the recognition that they do something for the commons,
yeah,
at that point I actually have the power to issue tokens and give it to them.
Yes, anyone. Yes, that's it.
And then if they have the tokens and they need something personally, then they can tell, for example, the bananas, they don't give the tokens to them, but they need to burn the tokens in order to get the bananas.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's an infinite source of tokens, because I can give as many tokens as I desire, as I wish.
Yeah.
So it means that it's not a scarcity type of things. You always have tokens to give away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very well put.
What do you do with people that no one recognizes that they do something for the community?
Well, that's the type of situation that obviously occurs, right? And because not anyone, not everyone has this type of inputs to do something for the commons.
Yeah.
Not, in a wide sense or in a strict sense. And but people get motivated. You see, Steph, that's very interesting. People get motivated. They see folks that's doing this, and they want to they want to be around. They want to feel this experience, make this experience happen for them, or in his reality. So he starts doing something for the commons too. But we have some dynamics that are very proactive, is not reactive. So ultimately, the proactive dynamics are doing open global workshops, right, via Zoom, and at the end, folks recognizes that to access that knowledge, that experience was something for the commons. So they issue some allegorical symbolic quantity of E2C tokens, and at the same moment, at the same time, they put themselves to transform an access for whatever the guy that gives the workshop wants, right? Yeah. Usually folks doesn't really want something for them. They want something for the projects, for the initiatives, or something for other folks, right? Something that other folks need. So it's a very interesting movement because it's a very empathic one. It's it has a network effect. Because if I don't have the thing that you want to access, I access who has, right? And if that person doesn't have, she accesses another one that has. So that another one that even doesn't know about your existence make contact with you, empathically speaking, and gives you access to what you want. So it's a very how I say, it's driven by empathy at its gist, right? And that's it.
One of the things is that the way it works, it's always reinforcing human connection. You have to be connected to people, not to an institution, not to a mediator. You have to connect. It's peer-to-peer, so you have to connect to people to understand their needs and understand your needs as well. So once you have needs, let's say, I know that it already happened. Somebody needed something, so we thought of ways that they could be recognized as doing something for the commons. Either they do something, or we remember something they did and we recognize them. And we started thinking of something very complex, like a platform or a wallet or a type of cryptocurrency that you could use for that. But that was taking so long, and we really wanted to see if it would actually work. So we started with this spreadsheet that Vinicius is showing, just to, experiment and see if it would work the way we were thinking, or if there would be some kind of problem with, I don't know, some people that could use in a different way that we didn't think of, just to have a prototype. So I think this was the fastest way to get to use the currency, the token. So that's why we created just a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we've been working so far.
Yeah. And
how? Sorry.
I'd love to talk more about it. I'm afraid that today won't be possible because it's 4 o'clock by now. But what about, I'll get my calendar. What about we pin a next date? Because I really like the concept you created. It's definitely valuable. I am not so sure how it can be implemented in a Western society that is middle class, for example, because I think there will be a lot of resistance there just because they already have an okay life. But I think the two systems, this system in combination with what we're working on, could live side to side and maybe bring a larger. What I see is that the SMC system that we have developed might be a middle step for people to actually move towards what you've done, and that way you might bring more people into the fold.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought about is that, well, a lot of people have some kind of resistance to this thing.
Yeah.
First of all, because they don't understand, because, you know, they're living in a system that is so lose-win mentality,
Yeah.
that it's difficult for them to actually understand that they just give it away.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I was thinking about is how to include those people in this loop is that they could, you know, how many people would like to help in a financial way, some communities, for instance.
Yeah.
This would be some way for them to start participating in this and test how this thing works. So they would actually have to do something to connect with those people in order to help them. And I just thought that this could be like an opening, like a way to welcome them in this new type of system thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's more complex thinking making than system thinking. As I said to Stef in the beginning, Fernanda, because when we made the time to present E2 Glats for you, Stef, for you have the background to understand what type of exploration we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have nothing systematized here. You don't have rules. You don't have an organizational framework to sustain this exploration. It's really organic, really interactive, and really distributed.
Well, there are some systemic rules. The systemic rules are in the issuing of the money and the burning of the money when you need something for yourself.
Yeah, but it's very lightweighted. It's not something.
Every good system is I always believe that the best systems are really simple with a minimal of rules, but just enough to make it work. But what about, do you have time next week, Tuesday?
Yeah, of course. It's a very long date, distant.
For me, het is van de Veer, me, Delft, it's difficult now. So this is this holiday week I have, and then I have some hard weeks to come for teaching remotely. So really have to take all my time for preparing lessons to give through this channel on my school, which is 175 kilometers from where I live. So I have to do it now because of the COVID. I have to do it from home.
Yeah.
Okay, Stef, we will see a date next week. It's okay, it's fine. I just want to show you this tag here, this last one, and here where people put what they share. They share the things that they do on a daily basis, and we call it infra-social superstructures available for common enjoyment. So you can come here and burn, let's put it, transform and access your E2C tokens to anything that is here, right? It's a lot of things. It's all types of experiences. It's organic food. It's workshops. It's knowledge. It's experiences. It's rides. All the things that you can imagine. So yes, Fernanda?
Worms for your composter.
Yes.
There's everything there. What I was going to say is that perhaps if you have more questions, we could work with that in the next meeting. So you said, for instance, how to use this side-by-side with your initiative in this Western society and things like that. Maybe that would be a good starting point.
Yeah. Because then the next time I'll explain how the system works that we've been working on. Because it also its goal is to take people out of financial stress, and also work towards more collaboration. Because I and the people I work with also we believe that our human nature is collaborative and loving. It's just that our current system is suppressing that. And it's with that in the back of our head that we designed our sustainable money system in such a way that people, I believe that if you would introduce it on a large scale, because you can actually run a world economy on that, then money will become less important, and that people will just start doing things for each other again without needing to be paid for it. That's kind of the goal of the system. I'm really sorry I have to go now, but it was really nice meeting you, and I'm really looking forward to our next chat. This 3 o'clock is perfect. It's just that today I was in a bit of a a bit of a hurry, but I hope that next time I'll have more time.
I think it's very early.
Yes. One last thing, Stef, before you go. You see, the thing that we have been net weaving since 2014 is the concept and praxis of global social worlds, right?
Yeah.
This space of imagination that is not related to the territory, it's not related to the locality, but it's grounded in localities.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it has to be grounded in localities. But so this social space of global social worlds is where this E2C initiative, social organism, is a planetary one. It's not a global one, but it's a planetary one. So
Okay.
it's a very different way of viewing it, because when you scale up, you really have to scale up in a sense of systemic thinking. And as I said, the systemic thing is very lightweighted, is very simple as it put. So the scaling up is very in interactive and in peer-to-peer manner. So it's a very different way of scaling up or expanding it. Because it's an organ, so you expand and you contract, you expand and you contract, you expand.
Yeah.
That's it. So thanks, man, very much.
Thank you.
For the time.
And I hope to talk to you next week.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Very great day for you too.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. Bye.
Bye bye. So we can continue. Why not? We're with Shana here, with Tis and Severino, Maya, Vanya, and now we can even say some words in Portuguese, because I think that we went too fast, Jananta, and Tis.
No problem. Speak Portuguese. No problem.
And Shana is here. So I'm going to ask Shana if she understood anything of what me and Jananta just said. We're not hearing you. We're not, Shana, we're not hearing you. Yes, we're not really hearing your voice. Yes. And still not. Still not hearing your voice. Still not.
The microphone is open, Shana, but the voice doesn't come. So sometimes you have it to
Perhaps if you get out of this meeting and come in again, and they will ask for your microphone source or something, might work.
Yes. Yes, that's a good tip. Well, let's say some words in Portuguese now, if you may, just Gente, bom dia, né? Bom dia. Desculpa a pressa. Eu inicialmente pensava que ele ia ter 2 horas para a gente conversar, mas ele, em cima da hora, falou que ia estar com 1. A gente teve que correr. Pelo que eu vi do Happonomy, né, lá do site deles, eu entendi que ele não é só ele, hoje é um grande negócio, vamos dizer assim, que se propõe a levar essa cultura da abundância de uma forma sistematizada para dentro de empresas, organizações, enfim, até comunidades. Mas tem um take muito baseado na tecnologia, no software, né, no design do software, que vai impulsionar o comportamento, entendeu? Quer dizer, ele pensa assim, é o software que determina o comportamento, o que eu não discordo, né? Mas mais do que o software, a gente sabe que a forma como a gente traz para o nosso dia a dia, né, o nosso comportamento social, ele é muito influenciado, né, pelas tecnologias que a gente absorve, né, pelas tecnologias que começam a fazer parte da nossa vida, né. Isso é alguma coisa que a gente não teve tempo, Jananda, de falar com ele esse primeiro encontro, né? Porque, assim, historicamente... Fala, meu amor.
Então, rapidinho. Engraçado que, enquanto vocês estavam falando, eu tenho a minha dificuldade muito própria em relação ao inglês, que eu não consigo acompanhar, vou pegando uma palavrinha ou outra. Enquanto vocês falavam, claro, que pelos quadros que você mostrou, e a gente já reconhece, nem conhece, a gente reconhece sobre a estação, sobre o Tolkien 2C. Enquanto você falava, assim, isso estava gerando, né, alguns insights aqui, e eu separei justamente um trechinho que acabou não dando tempo de estar compartilhando com ele, sobre o fato das instituições possuírem uma força gravitacional muito própria, que acabam por cristalizar e enrijecer as suas estruturas e não conseguem acompanhar na mesma velocidade a dinâmica das relações sociais. Eu tinha separado justamente esse trechinho como, assim, uma das questões que acabaram, assim, né, vindo à tona no meu pensamento, mas acabou não dando tempo de falar, e de qualquer forma é legal estar compartilhando aqui com vocês, né?
Acho que a gente falou rapidamente sobre isso, só na questão de que esse é um token que incentiva as relações humanas, né? Rapidamente a gente falou um pouquinho sobre isso.
Bacana, Jananda.
Não, infelizmente, a gente teve que correr e isso não é legal. Assim, mas, Jananda, foi legal que no início do encontro eu falei para ele que não ia dar tempo, quer dizer, mesmo com 2 horas ia ser pequeno. Evidentemente, como ele é um cara que está acostumado a pensar isso o tempo inteiro, ele tem mais facilidade para compreender isso, né? Óbvio, né? Então ele pega rápido as coisas, mas ainda assim o volume de informação, não só de informação, né, o volume de experiência, de informação, eu fico imaginando assim, vamos fazer um raciocínio rápido, né? Eu vou perguntar aqui para vocês quantos foram os encontros locais que a gente realizou desde 2017, especificamente para a Criptotrilha 2C, né, ligada à Criptojornada, né, para chegar no Tolkien 2C. Vamos ver se alguém aqui tem a noção de quantos encontros locais nós fizemos de lá para cá.
Uns 300?
Só esse número, Jananda, sozinho, já assustaria o Stef, entendeu? Assim, só o número de encontros, sem contar os desdobramentos, né, nas localidades, desdobramentos, vários encontros pelos pontos de contato, no WhatsApp, no Messenger, no Telegram, só isso sozinho já seria alguma coisa que, para o conceito da cabeça dele, da forma como ele pensa, não apenas moedas, né, moeda corrente, currencies, mas da forma como ele pensa a sistematização das coisas, vem num olhar muito de designer, né, um olhar muito de design e um olhar muito de software, né? Porque ele é um developer, né? Ele é um programador, ele é um dev, né? Então, assim, eu acho que a gente vai ter oportunidade de explorar um pouco mais disso semana que vem com ele, né? Eu acredito, né?
Eu acho que uma das coisas que a gente pode compartilhar com ele, que eu acho importante, é porque, assim, o que eu noto e que eu vivo entre esses mundos todos, né? Uma que essa iniciativa, as nossas trilhas e etc., elas já normalmente para, vamos dizer, um carioca, que é para meio extremo assim, já é uma coisa muito orgânica demais, né? É difícil as pessoas, tá, mas quando a gente vai ter isso? Como é que a gente vai fazer aquilo? Qual é o nosso objetivo? Isso já é uma dificuldade. Junta isso a uma cultura diferente, que é provavelmente a dele, né? Eu aqui, estando na América do Norte, eu sinto muito isso das coisas terem que ser produtivas o tempo todo. Então, se a gente tem uma ideia, a gente tem que trabalhar com foco e fazer ela acontecer. E não é uma experimentação. Então, talvez explicar para ele essa cultura que a gente está trazendo para as nossas iniciativas, né?
Concordo totalmente, totalmente.
Eu acho que de alguma forma ele trouxe um reconhecimento disso, né? Eu vou ter que descer
Sim.
que a minha ervilha, a panela de pressão tá barulhando ali, mas quando ele falou da questão de que talvez isso não seja aceito em uma sociedade de classe média e que seria perfeito trabalhar o que eles estão desenvolvendo junto com essa moeda para poder chegar no lugar que a gente está com a E2C, eu acho que em alguma medida ele está reconhecendo isso, mas ao mesmo tempo ele está dizendo que numa sociedade do jeito que a gente está acostumado a enxergar, é difícil sair desse viés produtivista, né? Mas eu entendi que ele estava reconhecendo que não necessariamente a gente precisa pensar a partir desse lugar produtivista, né? Pelo
Ele
que eu
achou
escutei
interessante,
do
sim.
pouco que ele falou, né?
É.
Espera aí que eu
Eu,
já volto.
olhando de fora, quando eu cheguei, era mais ou menos nessa parte, isso me causou assim, uma estranheza parecia para mim, né, que estava chegando, não ouvi nada mais, que ele estava querendo dizer que a gente deveria perpetuar essa cultura, porque senão não ia dar certo. Entendeu?
Não, na verdade o que ele quis dizer foi assim, ele gostou muito da ideia, mas ele entende a dificuldade disso ser usado em larga escala na sociedade ocidental que a gente tem hoje. O que ele propôs é que talvez a gente tenha que achar uma solução de como isso pode caminhar junto com as iniciativas que ele tem feito e que possa, como se fosse um passo intermediário entre como a sociedade funciona hoje e o que a gente está propondo. Foi isso que ele falou.
É isso mesmo, é isso mesmo. O que eu achei interessante, Maia, foi que, primeiro, a agilidade assim, dele ter pego... Eu acredito, Jananda, acho que ele conseguiu pegar a essência da parada, né?
Sim. É porque ele já conhece como é que as moedas sociais funcionam. Então eu falei para ele quais eram as diferenças de uma moeda social normal, que tem tantas por aí, né? Então acho que ele não sei se ele pegou tudo de forma aprofundada, mas ele entendeu qual é, pelo menos, o diferencial disso que a gente está propondo.
Eu acho assim, o desejo, a vontade de fazer realmente esse primeiro encontro, ela foi muito incentivada pelo nosso amigo Tis, que está aqui, né? Porque o Tis enxergou de que, da forma como ele vem, digamos, através da Happonomy, né? Esse conceito e a praxis, a forma como ele implementa a lógica da abundância em comunidades, em organizações, empresas, planeta fora. O Tis enxergou que isso é uma oportunidade de, digamos, alavancar, né? Pegar toda essa experimentação que a gente está fazendo de uma forma molecular, atomizada, né? Distribuída, e que já passa a incluir pessoas, né, de outros países, de outras línguas, mas catapultar isso para um nível, para uma outra instância, onde isso vai estar exposto, né? Não é isso, né? Pelo menos eu peguei isso. Isso vai estar exposto para outras comunidades e outras experiências, não iguais, evidentemente, mas parecidas, né? Planeta fora. Eu entendi que era um pouco disso. Aí que eu achei que isso seria interessante, visto que nós estamos vivendo o que nós estamos vivendo agora, né? Nesse momento
Esse passo
transição
intermediário que ele falou, a gente poderia estar pensando como um momento de transição, que justamente tem sido as nossas reflexões. Mas, assim, uma coisa que a gente também estava conversando, né, eu e Vinícius, não sei se eu cheguei a conversar isso com outras pessoas, que assim, o que era alternativo, né, nesse momento de pandemia, ele está começando a ser enxergado de uma outra forma. Agora mesmo a gente viu aquele manifesto lá na Holanda, onde, em vez de você se basear numa sociedade de PIB, com valores macroeconômicos, você já recomeça a pensar, né, na sociedade através do decrescimento, né? Então, assim, as pessoas estão também com outro pensamento. O pensamento antes era um e ele está num momento bastante propício a grandes transformações.
Concordo totalmente. Mas o que falta as pessoas entenderem é que o movimento de decrescimento, ele também é uma transição, né? Não é que a minha vida inteira, todo o resto agora vai ser decrescimento, mas é uma adaptação, né? Então, e como a gente está, assim, eu acho que o que você falou é certo, a gente está num ótimo momento, porque antes da pandemia, era tudo muito preto no branco, assim, né? Então se é decrescimento, aí vai completamente contra tudo que a pessoa, como ela construiu a vida dela, né? Então é muito difícil ela aceitar qualquer tipo de alternativa a isso, porque isso muda, inclusive, a identidade da pessoa, né? Se ela não tá, se ela se vê como se baseia no que ela é a partir do que ela possui, né? Aí fica difícil você propor qualquer coisa que foge disso. Então eu acho realmente que concordo totalmente com você. Agora é um ótimo momento para isso. As pessoas se abrirem um pouco mais, né?
Não, sem sombra de dúvida. Agora vamos falar um pouquinho em inglês para o Tis também, né? Pegar um pouquinho da essência aqui da coisa.
I was thinking Tis could understand us, but
Yeah, me
this
too.
is not the fact. No, not at all.
but Tis is a very carioca Brazilian type of guy. See, but, nevertheless, he's Dutch.
Where does he live?
Netherlands.
In Rio?
Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right.
And
I was thinking here about E2C and why I didn't use it despite I've been recognized by some people. And I think one of the things that I think about and I do not get excited at doing stuff is that here in Alto Paraíso, there are not many people that are using. Basically, I think it's only me and Felipe it's not, he's not using anything but house stuff right now. So I was
From my
thinking about
experience,
making some space for people here to know the coin and to get to know how it works, because it's difficult. I thought about the olives from Rodrigo, and I thought, wow, how can that come to Alto Paraíso? And we could think about that at that moment. Now it's almost impossible. So
I don't think so, Severino. I think that, as Jananda put it and Vanya put it, we're more sensible, we're more open, we're willing to take more risks, right? Because we don't want to continue with the same status quo, with the same ethos. We want to try to re-signify our lives, the way that we live. So we are creative beings, right? We destruct things, but we are creative beings too. We can create a way to logistically thinking to the olive from Rodrigo Oliveira gets to you, right? Gets to you in Alto Paraíso. So I think that we're really in the brink of an opportunity to do things, to really do things in a very different manner. Really do things, because the old ways, they're dying, right? They are dying. They are still going to be here, right? From the next years, of course. But things, as Jananda said, they are already changing. This mindset of 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 not oh my God, I forgot the word in English. Uh, Crescimento, de crescimento, I forgot.
The growth.
Degrowth, yes, yes, degrowth. The degrowth mindset is around over 10, 20 years, I think. 20 years or even more, right? And it's all over around. So you have networks of sustainable cities, or you have networks of sharing cities. You have people that understand citizenship in a very different manner. So they are not really related to national states anymore. So when you have this proposal that runs in a global sphere, right? In the global imagination, global sphere, it allows people to try new ways of being, right? Try new ways to generate wealth and distribute wealth. That's the thing that we're doing, right? Over the past 6 years. So that's the way I think. I understand your point of view, but I know that there are dynamics that is going to counter this dynamic, right? Cultural resistance is one of them, right? Cultural resistance to change, but things are changing, and I think they are speeding up. But of course, all this is isolation, all these lockdowns, all this quarantine. This makes the folks that are already in their individual bubbles to deepen in their individual bubbles. We know that, but there are folks that are very not okay with that, and we see this on a daily basis. At least I see. I think the Jananda. I don't know how is the experience of Jananda in Toronto. I know that it's very different from the experience that we have here in Brazil, and the experience that Tis has in Netherlands. And we can speak even about this because this is a very interesting topic. But the experience itself, it's happening. So that's the beauty of it.
A lot of people have been asking me how things can change so fast, how the systems can change. But the thing is, I don't know, but I know that people are changing, and that's how we start everything. Even if it's how they will educate their children and the next generation will be different because of this, but things are already changing. It is a moment of crisis. There's no way we cannot change anything after this.
Yeah, I think change is here, but for some things, we are more in that kind of bubble structure that Vinicius was talking about than in other times. And that's not exactly negative for me, for example, because now I'm putting some energy to plant, to grow vegetables. I'm more with my kids and learning how to deal with this new situation. I'm more I'm thinking more about not they're not going to schools, for example. He is in a school, but I was like, okay, I have to do that because if not, the law will be against me, the state will persecute me, and blah blah blah. And now I'm enjoying this opportunity to think more about unschooling and stuff like that, and make his own projects with him.
Yeah, but
that's change, for example, but it's inside the bubble.
I think that's the upsides. That's the upsides of the isolation, of this quarantine, these lockdowns. You're describing the upside of it. There are downsides, of course.
Of course.
Yes, Phil.
Like like what I said, if I want the olives from Rodrigo now, it's way more complicated for it to come here in this specific moment. Some things are really different. We were making beer. Right now we can't do that because I'm not even meeting Felipe. So how can we make beer together at this moment? And to buy the stuff to make beer in Brasilia to come here, no way. So
Well,
it's
you have to find
everything's
ways.
different.
You have to find ways. So you know what you
Yeah.
want. So you have to find ways. Might not work in one day. So if someone is doing transporting in any way, maybe a remote vehicle, dream about how to do it,
Yeah,
and about
because
education.
it's really complicated to this, because it's not about making the beer only, because in here we have laws that say that we can't sell the beer if we are making it in a home basis. So it's a law made for protecting Ambev and the large breweries
Same
from
in Europe.
the
Same in
growing of
Europe.
the small. So
Same in Europe. Yeah.
for us to have beer to sell in that context right now, I think are a lot of variables that we cannot deal with. At the same time, we are spending time with kids, quality time. So it's
So,
I do know, I do think that, yeah,
so Severino, as you said, we are creative folks. We're creative beings.
yeah,
So we can find a way. So a way is to shift. If the thing now with COVID-19 is not to do beer together and to sell it in a conventional way, the thing now can be to open yourself as you do in your life. I know, to people access the knowledge that you have, that Felipe have, and people make the beer in their houses, right? So when they access this type of knowledge that you have, all the experience that you have, this mutual access thing, this is a way to generate wealth, right? Because the access to the knowledge is a way to generate wealth, and so in that sense, that's why we're doing this local open workshops, right? Because people are accessing all over the place from other cities and other countries. And okay, it's more a challenge for organic food to get to places, right? Because there's the logistic thing of it. But you see, Team AE that we spoke about it here, Team AE had a lot of urgencies, as you know, as many of us. But he has more, of course, a lot of urgencies for his people that is in a brink of extinction. It's about 100 and few folks that is from Assurini tribe, and even he didn't really get what we're talking here about for a while. But when he got it, he understood that he can access a lot of things. So since he did his open Glocal workshop, right? It was the first one in the without COVID initiative, without COVID-19 initiative. He's doing an audiobook about birds and their symbology with folks that access his workshop on the internet, on the YouTube Labs channel, right? And they are now writing down a book with him. They are now sharing some fiat money with them. So this is happening, right? So I think that it's a challenge. I really understand what you're saying, but I think that we really can do this. We really can make it happen if we have the will to do it. of course, have the will and the enthusiasm to do it, right? Well, so we're going to speak a little bit more in Portuguese, and we're heading to the end of this gathering. So if you want to say something that we can record, be in this record, feel free.
Just continue in Portuguese. I have nothing to add at the moment, but I'll have some information for Severino. So I've looked him up in Facebook, so I connect with him, and there is a message from India about education, which is a person who is very well educated in education, and he is against education at the moment. So it's a very good paper that I try to find and share with Severino.
Okay, thank you.
Ok, really thank you. Então, gente, é isso. Acho que a gente está indo para o finalzinho aqui. Adorei as observações que a Vânia fez. Muito bom, coisinha, ficou lindo, maravilhoso. Acho que esse mesmo está registrado aqui, tá? Perguntar se vocês se vocês quiserem acompanhar, né, essa trilha, vamos dizer assim, com o Stef, né, de respeito ao Happonomy, entender melhor como é que é essa dinâmica, qual vai ser a interface da exploração alfa-AutoKDC com o Happonomy. A semana que vem vai rolar mais um encontro, certo? Então, é só ficar ligado para a gente ver a data direitinho e se ligar. Certamente de lá para cá eu vou conversar com ele, certamente o Tis também. Quem quiser também entrar no loop das conversações, me fala que eu linko, né? Eu coloco o perfil do Facebook dele para vocês próprios se ligarem diretamente e poder fazer as conversas, né? E dizer o seguinte, foi muito bacana, agradecer o Tis, tá? Agradecer muito o Tis por ter feito esse link. Por quê? Não que o Stef, entre aspas, represente a salvação de qualquer lavoura, não é isso que a gente está falando, mas que eu acho que a gente já tem um nível, um grau de complexidade suficiente, né, pelo volume de pessoas que já vem fazendo esse tipo de experimentação, né, de 2019 para cá, do meio de 2019 para cá, para que a gente possa, de fato, fazer conversações com propostas que já estão rodando aí pelo planeta, né, em outras sociedades, em outras cidades, etc. Então, eu achei que ainda mais nesse contexto, né, transicional que a gente está vivendo com a pandemia, com o Covid, entendeu? Então, essa mudança de ethos na sociedade que somos. Então, para mim, é por isso que eu me dispus separei um tempo, né, para fazer um banner para explicar, né, visualmente. Quem quiser aquele banner, está em inglês, ok, mas eu posso compartilhar para vocês darem uma olhadinha. Depois a gente até pode fazer uma conversa em cima dele, né, porque eu acho que ele ficou bem descritivo ali das coisas, né, para que a gente possa continuar aqui fazendo nossas explorações, tá? Então, é isso que eu tenho para dizer. Se alguém quiser dizer mais alguma coisa, diga agora ou cale-se para sempre, não é isso, Severino?
É isso. Valeu, foi uma boa conversa, curti. Cheguei um pouco atrasado, mas estamos aí. Vamos fazer a mudança acontecer. Estamos fazendo, né?
Estamos fazendo. Isso aí. Maia, alguma coisinha que você queria acrescentar, meu amor? Vânia?
Não, ficou na minha cabeça o que eu comentei, e eu estou aqui. Vou continuar pensando sobre essa questão desse momento de transição, onde até a gente pode estar alcançando mais pessoas sem perder a essência do E2C.
Muito bom, amor. Muito bom. Maia?
Não, essa hora, gente... Nossa, tô pegando no tranco ainda. Não tenho muito o que dizer, só que eu comecei meu dia muito bem, graças a vocês. Com muita energia, né?
Maravilha. Cheers, my friend. We're going. So kisses for you. A lot of hugs. See you next week.
See you.
See you, Cheese, Steve, Maya, Veer.
See you.
Kisses for you.